Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks. We are once again in the build world working on our micro carrier. We are going to be getting some of the upper decks finished up today, and not too much. I know I just recently released these ships, so you guys should kind of know what it's all going to look like, but we're going to keep the build videos coming for sure until I have pretty much all of the build documented onto YouTube, so you guys can kind of follow along if you'd like. But in this one, we are going to be worrying specifically about this deck, which is on the flight deck, and the deck below. So definitely stay tuned, stick around for that. Definitely got some good stuff to do in this episode. But if you guys like this series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Keep coming back for more. This is on the workshop. Like I said, I finally got it on the workshop. So if you do like the creation, definitely go show me some love on the workshop. Hit that thumbs up button. It really helps our channel. But yeah, guys, I am going to kind of just stop rambling, and I'm going to get right into the build. And right now we are just kind of working on the layout for this first floor. So I'm going to figure that out, and then we will come back in and talk about it a little bit more. All right, so in this room, which I will be referring to as the flight deck, we are basically just making like kind of a crew rest area. So this is going to be a nice place to kind of come in and take a break from the deck, as well as you can kind of watch the planes come in and landing. I'm going to put all of the runway controls in this floor, so the controls to the runway lights, the meatball, and the landing laser. But beyond that, it's mostly just going to be kind of detailing up and adding some, seats and equipment and that kind of stuff all over. So like I said in, earlier in this video, we're going to kind of be trying to do a lot of the layout in these rooms first. So later on, I will kind of come back and obviously give them another fresh coat of paint and whatnot. But I wanted to get all the signs up. I wanted to get all the seats up, all that kind of good stuff. So this deck, and honestly all of the room in the superstructure will probably get used a lot more, so it's going to be more for technical things, but this deck is specifically more for kind of taking a rest, grabbing equipment, healing people up, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're working on here. I've just added a nice little weather screen so people can come in and kind of watch the weather while they sit and take a break. And then, as per usual with a lot of the other visible floors, I'm going to add dual lighting in this on this floor too, so you will be able to switch between white and red. And then I'm just going to cram a few more seats right up against this wall, and I don't think we're going to do all that much more with this space. It's kind of just like a nice open crew space for everybody to use, so we're just going to keep it nice and simple, nothing too fancy. Just add a few windows. There's a nice little deck where you can get away from the noise there on the back side of the superstructure. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have in store for today. The floor below I will get into a little bit later. There is going to be the drone command station, and I am skipping around a little bit. There's some stuff I haven't really shown you guys that I've worked on camera or off camera, so that would be kind of like the remote station in the engine room and a lot of detailing in the engine room. So I won't have every single room on this in this build series, but for the most part, all the large ones I will try to get done. And if the rest of it's like 5 minutes of building or something in one specific room, I'm just going to leave that out because it's really not that important. But yeah, so we got a lot of this room kind of shaped up, and I'm just kind of getting some equipment in here for people to use, and then I will kind of just move on to, polishing it up, making it look a little bit nicer. And I might as well touch on it just because I know a lot of you have already been asking. Guys, there will be a light version of the carrier. I'm just working on it. That should be out relatively soon. And when I say light version, essentially what it's going to be is the same exact ship. I'm going to remove as much of the interior as possible and fill it with physics flutters. So the function of the ship will be exactly the same. I'm going to leave all the weapons on it, all the weapon systems, the radars, all that kind of good stuff. But all of this space that is kind of just decorated and not really that useful is going to go away. So, I'm going to basically get rid of all of the bunk rooms and the medical room and, all of that. So everything that I can remove from the ship on the inside that won't really affect how the ship functions, I'm going to remove. So hopefully it will function a lot better for you guys. It'll probably be a lot better for multiplayer as well. But you will still be able to use all the guns and stuff. You just won't really be able to access any of like the crew spaces. So I'll go as far as saying you'll even be able to reload the missiles, so that hallway isn't going to be physics flooded, and the engine room won't be physics flooded, but those will be just about the only spaces on the ship that you will be able to get to on the inside. You also will be able to get to the server room, but that floor is dramatically decreased in size, just so you basically only have access to the laundry room, which has been stripped, and the self-destruct room, which is the server room if you are new to the build. So you're only going to have access to those, which is fine. That's kind of what I wanted, honestly. And that way the ship is still basically a fully functioning ship. I didn't really remove any features, but it has the added benefit of not really having all of the super detailed interiors like the bunk rooms and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going for there. And then on top of that, I will also be adding a search and rescue variant. So that'll be a little bit less focused towards, planes and that kind of thing, and more focused towards helicopters and rescue and recovery. And if you guys, I know I did just release this ship, but if you guys were not familiar, I did put cranes absolutely everywhere on this thing. So you should be able to do quite a lot of recovery work with this ship in real life. And that's, I try to do that with a lot of my ships just because Stormworks, it usually is not the smoothest of plays. Usually something always goes wrong, so I try to add a bunch of recovery equipment everywhere just in case you need it. But right now I'm just kind of working on these cargo nets overhead, I guess we'll call them. So they're just kind of cargo nets. I'm throwing random junk up there to make it look like, we're storing something useful. Medical supplies, fluids, whatever. But yeah, I was looking at the room and the ceiling just kind of seemed a little empty. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get some stuff up on the ceiling too, to make it feel a little bit more crammed in here, a little bit more lived in and used, I guess. But that's kind of what we're going for here. I'm just trying to kind of cram the spaces up as much as I can while keeping them still opening and not annoying to move through. And that's kind of honestly the name of the game with a lot of ships, especially if you're making a military ship. I talk about it a lot, but real estate is king, especially when you're on a boat or on a plane. So with that regard, I try to make sure that every little space on the ship is being used up. That's why the ship that released has a full interior. It's because of this. If I have the space, I'm going to use it, and that can cause a lot of trouble, but it also makes the ship, in my opinion, feel really, really good in the end. So that's kind of why all this is filled up and quite crammed, and you'll see there's just a lot of junk everywhere. It's because that's how ships in real life are used, because you have to do a lot with them, and you can't necessarily give yourself more space. So you just kind of got to make it work with what you got. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So I'm just, I try to give every surface a purpose, every surface something to break it up. So there's not just flat continuous walls and floors and ceilings and that kind of thing. But right here's a good example of that. So I'm just adding some flipboards. They're nothing in the game, but realistically speaking, you would definitely have a lot of paperwork floating around on the superstructure of this ship, and you'd have a lot of checklists and a lot of data sheets and that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're adding here. And I'm just going to throw some equipment up on top so people have access to it. It's probably a good place to put it up here on the superstructure break room. But we're going to add a bunch of radios and remote controls and that kind of stuff, just so the deck team has a little bit of an easier time moving around planes and stuff. But I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to continue the time lapse a little bit more, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more towards the end of the video. All right, I lied. I just checked the recording. We have a little bit less footage than I thought we would, so this video probably won't be as long as the others, which I know recently they've been a little bit longer, more towards like the 20-minute range. But I'm trying to get this ship done for you guys, obviously, so I've been trying to cram more into episodes. This one's a little bit slower, so we can kind of take our time and talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, I'm trying to crank these videos out as fast as I can so we can get on to the next build. Speaking of that, I don't know what the next build is going to be, so if you have any suggestions, I'm definitely open to them. Let me know down below in the comments section or in our Discord server. We have a video suggestions channel that you are more than welcome to use. Guys, be respectful. Also think through what you're asking. Just because you say you want a video doesn't mean I'm going to make a video. It has to be a good suggestion. But with that, yeah, if you have any like build suggestions, I'm more than open to them. I've kind of been starting to look around at concept art and different vehicles and drawings and that kind of thing to kind of get an idea for what I want to build next, but I still don't know. But enough of the rambling. We are in the build world now, or not in the build world, in the real world. I'm going to walk around as we usually do, just show you guys around. So I made that nice little outside area where you could quickly grab equipment. And again, in here, guys, it's not quite done. I'm going to add some paint blocks and some more junk on the walls and whatnot. But this is basically our crew rest area. So we got a couple seats, and I am staring into blankness right now. I don't know why. Okay, looks like we're back. Al is back to Earth. But yeah, not too much going on here. Just some equipment, some info, a couple deck access areas. You can go upstairs into superstructure, or up into the bridge from the superstructure, or you can go below into the drone area and the captain's quarters. But that is just about all we have in store for today. So if you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That always helps the channel out quite a bit. If you like the series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back with some more of these videos next week, of course. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.